Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Raffle and today I will share with you the 3 builds that in my opinion everyone should have in Division 2. Those 3 builds of course are going to be some of the best builds the community has discovered over the years, and they are what we would call meta builds. Starting with the best skill builds you can create in the game. Personally, I rarely use it nowadays, but back when I was still struggling with legendaries, this was my go-to build when I wanted to do as much damage as possible. The classic drone turret combo with waveform and kinetic momentum while you chill behind cover will destroy any type of enemy. Capacitor offers us plus 60% skill damage, and the force multiplier with the perfect combined arms another 30% skill damage. Waveform is pretty self-explanatory with a 30% skill damage bonus rotating between our skills, and the kinetic momentum adds another 15% skill damage for each of our skills. A big debate since Gear 2.0 made it to the game with the Warlords of New York expansion has been the comparison between the kinetic momentum and the glass cannon. Glass cannon offers 25% amplified damage, which applies to your skills as well, when kinetic momentum offers only 15% skill damage. Glass cannon will offer more damage overall, but I do not recommend it simply because you will die much easier and much faster. The extra damage that it offers is not enough to justify the extra damage we will be taking. This build is what I'm gonna use when everything else has failed. When my 4-man group is struggling on a legendary, that's what I'm gonna change to, because pretty much it is the last option. If that fails as well, I don't have anything else. We're using 3 Empress International, 1 Waveform, 2 Hana U pieces which you can change for 1 Hana U and 1 Wyvern piece. Both combinations offer the same stats, 10% skill haste and 10% skill damage. And of course we're also using the capacitor. If you want to go with the Technician specialization, you can change one of your core attributes from skill tier to armor or to weapon damage, and then get that +1 skill tier from the Technician specialization, which will also give you 10% skill damage. Another good option is of course the Demolitionist specialization if you're going to do legendary content, simply because it offers immunity to 1 explosive attack every 60 seconds, and we all know that in legendary the explosive attacks, especially for squishy builds like these ones, are very hard to deal with. Moving on to the second build everyone should have in my opinion, we obviously have the good old red build. This build used to be the meta for months. You needed one for the Dark Hours raid, you needed one so you could kill heroic enemies. When Warlords of New York came out, it was hands down the best build and what everybody was trying to get. With overall stats of 55% critical hit chance, 180% critical hit damage, which goes all the way up to 220% when my talent killer procs, and 100% headshot damage, it's safe to say that everything goes down pretty fast. We have 3 Provident defense pieces, 1 Fenris B, 1 Grupo Sombra, and of course the Fox Sprayer knee pads. Perfect vigilance on my backpack and obliterate on my chest piece. Another debate amongst the Division 2 players is obliterate or perfect glass cannon. One offers 20% amplified damage and the other offers 25% increased weapon damage. So obviously, as you can see, the perfect glass cannon will hit harder. The choice between the two is yours. Sometimes I go with the obliterate, some others I go with the perfect glass cannon. Just keep in mind that the obliterate needs a high RPM weapon in order to work properly. At the end of the day, no matter what you choose out of the two, both will work fine and will give you high damage. The weapons of course include the good old classic M1A and then the assault rifle of your choice. I would recommend you going with one of the following 3, either the Police M4, the FAMAS or the Carbine 7. Pick whichever you prefer, just make sure you roll a 10% damage targets out of cover attribute on it so it can stack up with a Fox Sprayers and get a total of 18% damage targets out of cover for that extra damage. The red build over the last couple of months has seen a change when it comes to the Provident defense pieces, changing from some Walker Harris. Of course, that's also a viable choice and a pretty good one. Instead of going with 3 Provident defense pieces, you can get one which preferably it would be the backpack, the perfect vigilance, the gift, and then you would have 2 Walker Harris pieces for the 5% weapon damage and the 5% damage to armor. You can also get rid of the Grupo Sombra gloves and get yourself some Contractor's gloves for the 8% damage to armor. It all comes down to your own personal preference. both types of red builds will work just fine. The damage difference, it's really not that big, not that important, so choose whatever you prefer, whatever you already have, whatever you feel it's easier to complete. The last build that I want to talk about is of course the Heartbreaker gear set. Making its appearance with Title Update 15, Heartbreaker has changed the PvE meta. Heartbreaker offers plus 100% damage against pulsed enemies, as well as 100% or even 200% bonus armor in case you're using the backpack. Every time you hit a pulsed enemy, you get a stack, and that stack gives you plus 1 weapon damage to pulsed enemies and 1 or 2% bonus armor, again depending on if you're going with the backpack talent. You have a total of 100 stacks if you use the chest piece, and you only lose 2 stacks per second. With that being said, you can play around with the core attributes and create either a full blue build, which will make you tanky as hell. You can go with full red core attributes, which will give you the highest weapon damage build in the game, or you can have a more balanced approach like the build I'm showing you right here and go with 3 blue cores and 3 red cores, including fog sprayers and contractor's gloves. That way you have both good survivability but also great damage, allowing you to clear content very easily. You can always get rid of the Heartbreaker backpack if you're not a big fan of the bonus armor and get yourself a backpack with vigilance, in case you want to boost your damage. The great thing about Vigilance and Heartbreaker and the way they work together is that if you get hit while you have bonus armor, Vigilance stays active and does not go on a cooldown. In order for the Vigilance to drop and go on a cooldown, you need to lose some of your white armor, some of your normal armor. While you have bonus armor, your white armor is not getting attacked, it's not getting reduced, so you keep the Vigilance buff. The weapons of course are going to be Dare and Kingbreaker, because both of them have the perfect flatline talent on them. Another good option here is the Rock and Roll shotgun, which is however a DZ exclusive, but with the talent that it has, it allows you to have a big ass magazine and just go in the face of enemies, blast them down with that shotgun, and pretty much guarantee you'll have 100 stacks right after the start of your fight. Going back to Kingbreaker and Dare, the Kingbreaker hits the hardest since it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game, but Dare has a better RPM, better handling, as well as 200 extra bullets compared to the Kingbreaker in case you're using the gun specialization, which gives you the plus 50 rounds mag. So again, the choice is of course yours. However, I would recommend going with the Dare because it's a better weapon all around. A few days ago I decided to do a Dark Hours raid round with my clan. Hadn't done one in months because I'm not a big raid guy, so I got my red build together, I joined the group and we got started. While we were doing Lucy and Buddy and I was there, I was checking my clanmates' builds and literally every single one of them was running a version of the Heartbreaker build. If you go into Countdown, you will see people running Heartbreaker builds, not red builds. The full red meta build is over and the Heartbreaker meta is here. What's great about the Heartbreaker is that it allows you to play around with the core attributes, play around with the 2 other pieces of your build. Are they gonna be Fox Prayers? Are they gonna be a Vigilance backpack? Are they gonna be the Catharsis mask? What it's gonna be? That's what allows the diversity when it comes to the Heartbreaker builds. You can come up with a lot of ideas and test them out. You can go with Contractors and Fox Prayers. You can go with Vigilance and Contractors, Vigilance and Fox Prayers, Catharsis and Vigilance, Catharsis and Fox Prayers. You know, you can come up with a bunch of ideas. You can create a bunch of builds. So that's the third build done. For those of you who are still watching, first of all, thank you, and second of all, on my channel you can find plenty of meme builds or simply fun builds that are not as effective as these 3. That's not because I don't know any better builds or because I don't want to show them, but because YouTube is already filled with meta build videos, and to be honest, until Heartbreaker came out, we had the same meta for 2 years. So there wasn't really a big point of me coming out and talking about the meta builds again. I find fun in creating weird builds, off meta builds, fun to play with builds, testing them, getting my ass kicked, and then trying to improve them or try with a different one until I find something that works. In case you think you would be interested in my content, make sure to check out my channel, and if you like what you see, click the subscribe button. It's free and it really helps me. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that you found what you came here looking for. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.